Bullhorn, Betty. Thank you for my shirt. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Kids Club.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause of sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
And slid down so we can see a red suitcase right here for law enforcement if they're watching and you guys would like to come back here. For being out here. So this is what we're doing today. We will see you guys back here real soon.
Most people are not willing to work hard, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with that. I'm not judging you if you don't want to work hard. Just fuck you if you're going to complain about it. That's what I have a problem with. That's the lazy, ambitious group, and they're scary as hell. They want everything, but they're not willing to work for anything, right? Because they'll do things that'll destroy the golden goose to try to get what they want now. So it's okay if you don't want to work hard. I'm totally okay with that. Hey, you want to go fucking live on the beach and live off the land and fucking pedal to get shit? Great. That could be your lifetime. That's what you want to do. There is zero judgment in my heart. Just don't ask the world to change to fit your fucking lifestyle.
Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Good morning, my beautiful people of YouTube. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful Saturday today. And we've got a few off-topic conversations, and then we're going to go back to the CROTCH-GATE 2023. I'm wondering, it's so hard for me to think, you know, some of these judges and what they have to read in some of these pleadings. It's got to be, I'm sure there's some comedy skit out there that could be had. That could be had. I hope everybody's doing well. Sheila, good morning, love bug. I hope you're doing great. Excuse me. Skittles, true crime. Thank you for being a lovely member. We're having a little bit, excuse me, I'm not sure what's going on with my throat. It's been like this for a couple days. But we've been having some audio issues, even with the new equipment. I'm not sure if it's just the internet provider, you know, because of the hurricane being here, if there's some people that were out and things are just, you know, being overloaded a little bit. So just bear with the internet if we have some little internet skipping issues. I heard some audio skipping while we were going into the intro, so I kind of expect that to happen. Well, just with internet in general, using Wi-Fi versus just having it all directly plugged in. You can't even really plug anything into these computers anymore. They don't have any ports. Everything's like Bluetooth. So, anyways, good morning, and thank you for being a 5-month member. God bless you. Scott reminds us, don't forget, as you guys are coming in, please go out there and hit the like button. We just are going over some true crime stuff. We're nothing really honing in on anything specific. We're just going to have a laugh about CROTCH-GATE at the end. But there's a lot of information that's coming out, and I figured we will just touch base on it so the audience here has an opportunity to hear some new information about other cases that we're not really covering, but I thought would be interesting for people to hear about. So I am Team Summer. God bless you. Katrina, allergic to humans. I think we all are. If we're not, we're becoming. I love it. I love it. Good morning, my friends. Good morning, Missouri Butterfly. It's nice to see you. Ruby, it's nice to see you as well. That Becca chick, good morning. Good morning, Tammy Sue. TD, it's nice to see you. Nani McPoppins, Tippett back 88. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Country Girl Ian. It's nice to see you, Love Bug. Row Ventures, good morning. Cindy. What else do we have? We have Lady 7 Up in the house. Amanda. Good morning, guys. Good morning. And Mr. Quinn. Good morning, Mr. Quinn. I hope everything is going well in your neck of the woods. So it's nice to see everybody here this morning. I'm going to attempt to try to read today's language of letting go. I do like the messaging. I didn't quite get through it this morning because just stuff going on here. So this is for September 6th. I can't believe we're officially in the last quarter of the year. We're in the last quarter of the year, September to December. Well, I guess it would be October, November, so it's after this month. Gigi for life. Good morning. We know you're not a new member. You can try to trick us all you want, but we know better. We know better. Good morning, Love Bug. I hope you're doing great this morning. So September 2nd is talking about coping devices. We may do less than logical things to cope with tragic events. We don't do these things because we're silly. We do them because it's the only way we know how to survive. One of the silliest things we do to cope with life is devaluing ourselves when bad things happen to us. We might have experienced a lot of pain while we're growing up. So as a child, we looked around and said, yep, this must be my fault. There's something wrong with me. Or, I know if I would have kept my room cleaner, my daddy wouldn't have gone away. Low self-esteem. All the ways it manifests becomes a way of coping with painful events. We look around and see all the people who don't appear to have our level of problems, so we may conclude, there's something wrong with me. Although adapting a posture of low self-esteem might have always been a way of surviving pain, that time has passed. It's time to replace low self-esteem with new perspectives. Stop coping with events by devaluing yourself. Instead, respond to life by living, loving, and taking care of yourself. Love yourself just as you are. God help me love myself for who I am now. And here's your activity that you guys can do if you like this, right? Your activity is do a review of your self-esteem. Go back over past events from your childhood, teenage, and adult years. What pain event occurred? This is the most, I can honestly tell you, this is the most challenging activity to do. But it is literally the most liberating activity to do. I will tell you, I've had to do this. It is very hard. It's a gut-wrenching process. You don't think it is, but once you start just kind of peeling back the layer of the onion and you start working on what really got you or your life to the point where it is, that's when you can start making effective change. But a lot of us, including myself, very much guilty. I have allowed, things that have happened in my childhood to affect my adult years, to affect relationships I've been in. I've had a lot of just turmoil, that is resolving itself. Every year it gets better. Every year I do a little bit better work on myself personally, internally. But I've always told you a lot of the problems that we deal with every single day stem from childhood trauma. And I tell you because that comes from my personal experience. So your activity is to, what painful events occurred? Did you give away your self-esteem to a certain person? I can guarantee that you'll find out you have. And you'll find out that a lot of your low self-esteem issues stem back a lot further than you can remember until you start remembering and addressing those very issues. Now is the time to claim your self-esteem back and take it back. Write down the positive areas of your life. Write down your friends, your family members, what your family and friends appreciate about you. I don't know. I don't know what my family and friends appreciate about me. I really don't. I've never asked, the people that are with me, that are my friends, that are my friends' friends, accept me for who I am, for all of my imperfect imperfections. I'm not a perfect human being. I don't strive to be a perfect human being. I believe that there's only one perfect being out there, and that's my Lord and Savior. I don't subscribe to perfection. I don't think any of my audience is perfect or, doesn't have their own issues, their own familiar issues, their own identity issues. There's just a lot of different things that could be going on a daily basis in a lot of our audience members' lives. But one thing is I don't judge. To be honest with you, if you ever met me, you'll find I'm probably one of the lowest judgmental persons. Now, I complain about a lot, but I'm the lowest judgmental person about another person. When I'm driving, I got to buy Olivia earplugs because I cuss out drivers. And like, why the hell did you get over here? Did you have to do that? Come on, move it. Don't you know where the gas pedal is? Oh, Lord. I don't know how she puts up with me. I tell you what, when she's ready to drop a video of bloopers or just embarrassing moments, that would go viral in like 15 minutes. I swear to God. I've been telling her for forever. You need to do a bloopers. Because we have 2 years of bloopers. I mean, literally 2 years of bloopers. I remember there was one time we were, it was one of the very first cases after Gabby Petito. This is before I was even Bullhorn Betty. And we were out in Moab. And we were, oh Lord, I can't remember what it was called. But you remember that photo of Gabby where she had that like ring that, golly, why can't I remember it? I can't remember it for the life of me. Olivia it would probably kill me. Anyways, it was this place out in Utah that has this like ring, it's Mother Nature, but it's a hike to get there. I think it was like 2 miles. It was some of the stuff that we had to truck through was pretty dangerous. And there's a lot of people on this path. It's a well traveled, I guess a sightseeing type of thing. I can't remember the name of it, but I'll find the photo and you'll understand what I'm talking about. So anyways, we go to this park, and we park and we go for the 2-hour walk, which was very excruciating. But by the time we got there, it was really, really pretty. But there was this skit that Olivia and I did on the way back. From that, we're tired, we're exhausted, it was quite a hike there. I don't want to know how many hours it took us to get there and how many hours it took us to get back because it was all on foot, right? But by the time we get back, Olivia and I are like doing a parody of like JLR and Mom, or JLR and me, or JLR and Olivia. I can't remember. But it was just absolutely hilarious. And I can't remember which one of us were recording it. I can't remember if it was Mom or JLR or Olivia or somebody like that. But anyways, it was just funny. And so we have those types of like things that are just absolutely hilarious. And, you can always tell when we're really tired because we're delusional and we're delirious and we just do goofy stuff. At that point, when we start doing goofy stuff and we can't stop laughing, we're like, okay, put a fork in it. We're done. There's nothing left in us anymore. Our brains are mush. So, but it was just a fun time. But I actually think that if Olivia ever dropped those videos, I have to be honest. I got to think that those would be the most hilarious things that you have ever seen in your life. So getting on to something that's not so pretty, not so hilarious. Oh, hey, Elsie. Nice to see you. I think I saw somebody else come in that I didn't say hi to. If I forgot to say hi, oh, Nani McPoppins. Thank you. God bless you. Loves and hugs to all. Have a safe, blessed Labor Day. Thank you. Yes, Monday is big Labor Day. And I'm trying to get all my white clothes worn before Labor Day. I always heard that it's a curse to wear white after Labor Day. I think it has something to do with all the rain. There's Reggie. Reggie, good morning. It's nice to see you. I thought I heard somebody say hi to you, and I couldn't see you in there, so it's nice to see you. So getting on to not so good news going on in the world today. I'm not sure how many people heard of this. There's been a lot of rumors going around. So if I'm saying the county correctly, it's Sevier County, something like that. I don't know the pronunciation of it. Well, I'll have to get it right. But this was sent to me because, and not just by one person, but this article was sent to me by multiple people that follow this channel because it's in Tennessee. And we've only got a few cases out of Tennessee that really are that would have a missing person or a remains associated with it or whatnot. I haven't talked about this because I wanted to wait until we got some more information on it. The people that sent this to me like a couple of days ago. I think it was a couple of days ago. Let me see. It was just breaking at the time. Yeah, a couple of days ago. It was like August 30th. So I would have gotten it on August 31st. And so I didn't really want to jump right on this particular article because I didn't know who it was. A lot of people are concerned that it might be Summer Wells. You know, there's other people that are missing in the state of Tennessee. Many of you know we're following one right now. I don't know if this has anything to do with either of the main cases that we are following. Pin 1010, it's nice to see you. Steffi, it's nice to see you. So I and a lot of people are like, oh, this could be Summer, this could be this could be that. We don't know who it is. I can assure you that I have checked every possible back channel that I know to check. About these skeletal remains that were found in Sevier County, Tennessee. So I just wanted to read this to you. There's not a whole lot of detail with this particular matter. I don't know when we're going to find out who the identity of these skeletal remains are. There's a few things that I can tell you in this article that it's very hard to even speculate one way or another. One is that it's human skeletal remains. That's it. We don't have if it's a child, if it's an adult, if they can tell if it's a female or male. They can tell by the skeletal remains related to the pelvis and the hip so if there's nothing there and it's just skeletal remains, anybody that has been in the medical field or has followed true crime in any sense can determine whether that body, that those skeletal remains are male or female, and it has to do with the pelvis area. The pelvis area is designed differently for the male and differently for the female, and somebody that's educated in that can identify that very quickly. So we don't know if it's an adult or a teenager. Sometimes the body height really doesn't matter. Then they'd have to go to the skull and find out how big the impressions are in the skull and those little zigzag lines that you see on the outside. The wider they are, the older you are. So they can actually tell by the skeletal remains what years you are in. Are you a teenager? Are you an adolescent? Are you a child? Are you a grandparent? Are you an older, at the end of your days, person? They can tell all that. Believe it or not, they can tell all that by human remains. It is knowledge. There's something about the way the body grows that helps law enforcement identify these things. And this is over years of data. So I'm a little concerned that there is no identification more than just skeletal remains. And this is basically what it says here. It just says Sevier County deputies responded to a call on Grassy Branch Road on August 23rd from a tree trimming crew who found bones in the area, according to officials. Officials said the police determined the bones were in fact human. The sheriff's office CID was assisting TBI, so TBI is involved in this, and the Knox County Regional Forensic Center in recovering the remains. The skeletal remains are currently being examined and identified. So literally that is all we have any earthly idea about with these skeletal remains. Very vague, definitely not even something. Oh, I gotta sneeze. Sorry guys, sorry. Let me see if I can turn this. Excuse me. I didn't want to sneeze on you guys. Anybody that's driving this bus that this is, Summer Wells or some other person that's missing out in Tennessee, we don't even know if this person came from Tennessee. It's just their remains were found in Tennessee. So we have a lot to wait on. They're not releasing. Again, I did a search this morning just to see if there was an update so I could kind of give you guys more information. But honestly, I just don't have any more information than this, because it's very vague. It's held close to the chest. And just because they found this person out in a wooded, grassy area doesn't mean anything. In this day and age where people are having to live off the land, there are some really cold winters. We learned about that because there was bodies found in, I think it was Colorado or something like that. 4 people to be exact, or 3 people that were found. And when we looked into the case a little more and reached out to law enforcement, we received from their public information officer an email that basically just said that they believed that this was, basically homeless people that were living off the land and thought that they could make it through the winter. And they succumbed to that because the winter was brutal. I mean, this is not verbatim, obviously, but that's basically what was advised to our office here. And so I don't know if they're going to get this information back quickly. I'm hoping that if there's some foul play involved, that they let the community know. If they can, when they identify this person, hopefully it's somebody that we've been looking for. Hopefully this will be able to start moving some closure into somebody's life. I mean, I'm really hopeful that that they're bringing people home. When they go missing, they're not coming home the way I'm sure the family and friends wish they would, but the unknown of the crime or the unknown of what happened to your friend or loved one has got to be a nightmare, living a nightmare almost daily, every single day until you get those answers. So there are skeletal remains here, and while we don't know what happened, we don't know if there's any foul play associated with it. Hopefully the finding brings some closure to somebody. Hopefully the silver lining is somebody's mystery has now been solved. I really hope that is the case. I truly do. We have so many missing people around this country. Finding answers on one, it makes the searches worth it. It makes the answers worth it. So hopefully, and I, what's just really eerie kind of about this though, that almost made me want to put my tin hat on. When I was reading this, and it was the tree crew. So in this case, it was a tree crew that found these remains. And of course, I'm hearing about, people thinking it might be Summer Wells and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, could it be Summer Wells? And then you're talking about the tree crew, and then we've been kind of beaten up, and the tree crew being out in front of the Wells property the day that Summer was reportedly missing, allegedly went missing from that property, and that tree crew had to go under an intense FBI and TBI investigation of every single person that was out there on Don Wells' property. So you can imagine me hearing like Summer Wells, and then hearing that it was a tree crew that found it. It was like, I hope it's not the same tree crew that was out in front of, their house. That would be, it would make my tin hat come out. I can promise you that. Even though we're lack of information, I would probably put the tin hat on if we find out this is the same company that was in front of Don and Candace's house. That would just, I think, even if it had nothing to do with it, I think that would just set YouTube and other social media just going completely berserk over the information. But again, we didn't get any further along with this. I did check another article, and it basically says the same thing. Skeletal remains were found last week, have been recovered, and sent for examination. The Sevier County Sheriff's Office official spokesperson said deputies responded to Grassy Ranch Road on August 23rd, where possible skeletal remains were found by a tree trimming crew working in the area. We definitely know from the prior article that those were tested, and they did come back and were confirmed to be human remains. Other than that, again, just no information whatsoever about this case. Let me just see if this article has, I know there was one that had a little bit more information to it. Is this it? No. So we have no additional information on the tree cruise. That literally was it. Now, guys, I've got to tell you, this is a crazy story. We're going to kind of dovetail because that's really all I wanted to let you guys know, that there were some human and skeletal remains found in Tennessee. We know that there's several people missing in Tennessee, including Layla Santinello, Summer Wells, among several. Okay, those are the ones that we've discussed here on this channel, but there are several people in the state of Tennessee that are missing, that nobody knows where they're at. So I wanted to preface that because this literally could be anybody. It may be a case that none of us are even covering, that none of us even know about, and we will be getting that information as soon as we get the information on the skeletal remains or the identity of those skeletal remains. We will make sure our audience knows that first. So just don't get panicked just yet. You know, there's no information here, and we don't even know if it was a male, female, the age. You know, I would think that, you know, they were very, very strategic in this news article, because they say, you know, like an adult, right, skeletal remains, adult skeletal remains, or child skeletal. You know, this one was very, very vague. Just remains, human remains. That's it. That's all we've got. We've got nothing to even speculate about. So the people that are speculating about who these bones could belong to are most likely probably completely off base. But I don't want to discredit. You know, there are some people that have sources out there that, you know, even boots on the ground, that can hear more than what we're hearing, you know, from state to state. So, you know, if there's somebody there in Tennessee that can kind of look into this and kind of feed some information back to the content creators, that would be great. Again, this is in Sevier, I think is the way you pronunciate the county. If not, the people in Tennessee, you know which county I'm talking about. If you've got family or friends in there, put your ear out and see what's going on with this case. I'm just curious. I as many people are here on social media. You know, we're very curious about this because we've been following a number of cases, again, out of Tennessee. So this is kind of a little interesting. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because, you know, we are content creators here. At least some of us. Some of us are YouTubers. Some of us are TikTokers. You know, at some point, I think that we don't know what we are until we identify ourselves, right? And but this is a content creator, well-known content creator, and I have to think that when we're on here, we kind of have to stand, you know, we have to take more personal responsibility for our conduct than, say, our general audience, because we are here. You know, we have, to me, it's a responsibility to our audience. It's we expect the people that are on here, and this being their lifestyle of being a content creator and bringing newsworthy content to their audience, you would think that there is, you would take care of your family better. You know, I don't know. It's just hard. I guess let me just play the clip and then we'll discuss it, because I don't want to give too much away, but it is pretty disturbing for me as a content creator to hear a story like this. I must say it almost is like we almost want to punish the officers worse because they had a duty, right? And when they break the law, it's like 10 times worse because they had the duty to uphold the law. And when you have a content creator out here, especially if they're doing a support group or something, you expect them to be held to a little bit of a, not too much of, but a higher standard. I have to believe you have to I think that for me, I hold myself to a higher standard when I'm on here, whereas I may have a much more foul mouth offline. I work very hard when I'm online to, hey, Susie Sue, to not have the foul language. Does it slip out every now and again? Of course it does. Perfectly imperfect right here. Right? Perfectly imperfect right here. So it's not like I just hold myself because I know that there's little ears that listen. People are like, oh, they shouldn't be watching. Look, are you kidding me? Half of these channels out here that cover this have cuss words out of every single sentence. Like, you think a child should be watching that? And not only that, but who are you to talk to somebody else about how they're supposed to be raising their child? Like, there's just some things that people just need to butt the heck out of. And you're like, you don't even know people. I don't know the people in my audience personally, except the few that I know personally, right? Who am I to tell you how to live your life? And think of the audacity and the entitlement of these people that think that they have the right to do that to you. They don't even know you. They've never even walked 1 second in your shoes. And they're trying to shake their finger about how you live. But again, when it comes to content creators, we expect a little bit more of them. And we definitely don't expect to have content like this coming out from news organizations. Listen.
My Foley, thank you. A controversial YouTube star out of Ivins has been arrested and charged with aggravated child abuse. Police were called after a neighbor reported a child escaped through the window to get help, which led to the arrest of the child's mother, Ruby Frank.
Fox 13.
This is, again, a very, very disturbing case. I expect us never to have, when you're a content creator, we expect, if you're making money off here, to be doing the right thing in your life and for the people in and around you, and help as many people as you can. That's kind of what I do. But if somebody doesn't do that, who am I to judge? This is a free country. You run your stuff the way you run it. We run our stuff the way we run it. But when you hear that a famous superstar is arrested for the unthinkable, injuring a child, I don't know who this content creator is. I can promise you that. I've never met this person, never even knew this person existed until this article came out.
News reporter Lucy Nelson has the details on the alarming conditions they say the children were found in.
Without bail and behind bars sits a woman who once freely roamed around her home, filming her family in front of up to 2.3 million subscribers. Ruby Frank, known as a momfluencer, documented the life of her husband and 6 children in southern Utah in her YouTube channel 8 Passengers, which was taken down earlier this year. Come Wednesday, she resurfaced in the public eye when one of her children escaped through a window and knocked on a neighbor's door, requesting food and water.
That is disturbing to me. That is very, very disturbing. A woman that has basically a support group, and her children are trying to escape out of a window and begging for food and water. Like, I can't even express to you my frustration.
I got a hold of the police statement, which I'm holding right here. It says when the child arrived at the neighbor's home, the child had duct tape around his wrists and ankles. The neighbor immediately called police, and officers...
I want you to understand that a kid has duct tape around his hands and his feet. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Lordy, lordy, lordy. I just can't. I seriously just can't. Like, there's still a lot. There's still another 1 and 25 seconds left to this clip. You guys are more than welcome to go watch it. I'm not playing any more of it. I hope I don't see this person, this horrible, horrible mother. What was her name? Something Frank. I hope I don't see her. You know, I probably would heckle her. And you know what? I have every right to do it here in the United States of America. Now, I'm not going to do it over the internet, but I hope I don't see her. And I hope she spends a lot of time in jail. This is unacceptable to me. This should be unacceptable to anybody across the streets of YouTube and social media. When you see something like this, and I know there's several of them, there is a TikToker out there that lives in just disgusting filth and thinks she's something and tries to proclaim herself as a web sleuth. No, you're not. You're a conspiracy theorist. You make your kids live in squalor. I'm surprised her kids haven't been taken away from her, but I'm not, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. I don't see how some people live like that, but to each their own. I don't care what you do in your life. Just don't put your children through it. To each their own. But if you're going to live a sinful life, make sure that children aren't involved. You do what you want to do with yourself and your body as long as you're not injuring somebody else. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. I don't know if you guys heard about the teacher that disappeared and she was brutalized. And the suspect in her case has been found. And here's a press conference. It's about 13 minutes long. We're going to go through. I'm about halfway through this, and then we're just going to open the phone lines and kind of chit chat with everybody that we haven't had an opportunity to chit chat with in a couple weeks. So if you guys would like to call in, please consider doing so at that time. I'm not opening the phone lines just yet, but just wanted to give you guys an idea. We're going to be here for a little minute because I haven't had an opportunity to really go through any of these cases with anybody, right? So I just want to make sure that you guys are kept up to date. Again, this is the press conference
for the police department, and I'd like to welcome you all here today. We have the leaders of Prince George's County here today to provide a significant update on the homicide investigation that you all have been covering for the past couple months. First, I'd like to introduce our Chief Aziz, and I'd like to bring up the leaders of Prince George's County.
I just want to make sure you guys can hear everything okay. Give me a thumbs up if you can. I can't hear a thing.
Good afternoon. I am Malik Aziz, Chief of Police, Prince George's County. Today, I would like to announce the arrest of 33-year-old Harold Landon III of University Park, Maryland, for the murder of 59-year-old Maryam Sela of Greenbelt, Maryland. The Prince George's County Police Department has worked in partnership with Chief Bowers and the Greenbelt Police Department, the FBI Baltimore Field Office, Anne Arundel County Police Department, Charles County Sheriff's Office, the Calvert County Sheriff's Office, Maryland Coordination and Analysis Center, and the Maryland National Capital Park Police, Chesapeake Search and Rescue, Calvert County K-9 Search and Rescue Team, and the Prince George's County State's Attorney, Aisha Braveboy, and her team to bring this case to justice and give the family a degree of comfort. I extend my condolences to Dr. Fatima Touré, who is over to my right, and that we bring a degree of justice to her and her family upon the senseless murder of her sister, and we have full intentions to bring that forth in the coming days, weeks, and months ahead. On July 29th, 2023, Miss Maryam Sela went for an evening walk in the 6900 block of Hanover Parkway and did not return. A friend of the family contacted the Greenbelt City Police Department to report her missing. On August 1st, at approximately 4:30 p.m., a concerned citizen contacted PGPD police concerning what appeared to be human remains in the 7300 block of Old Alexander Ferry Road in Clinton, where a dismembered body was discovered. Through various investigative techniques and tireless work of detectives, they were able to develop Harold Landon III as a suspect in this murder. Detectives discovered that he was in the park at the same time of the abduction and later identified through his vehicle. Through DNA evidence, the remains were identified as those of missing teacher Miss Sela. Miss Sela was a much beloved teacher and a member of our community, a valued member of our community. But I want to thank the men and women of our Prince George's County Police Department's Major Crimes Division Homicide Unit, and that includes the Greenbelt Police Department for their unyielding efforts in their efforts to bring to justice Harold Landon for the murder of Mrs. Seela. Lead Detective John Wood, Lieutenant King, Sergeant Russell, Detective Visball, Detective Paz, Detective Lynn, Detective Munawa. They have worked countless and tireless hours in what I believe is the finest homicide unit in the nation to bring Harold Landon to justice. And so I want to personally thank them for their diligent efforts and the coordination with our other counterparts, and especially our relationship with the municipality with Chief Bowers and his team at Greenbelt. Thank you so much. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to our leader, our county executive, Ms.
Mariam Seela. She is today acknowledged. The principal of her school is here from Dora Kennedy French Immersion School. I want to thank him for his presence, as well as the president of our Prince George's County Teachers Association. I want to thank her for being present as well, and to say to all of the young people who love Miss Seela, who we've heard from over the last few weeks, the second grade students that she taught, to tell all of those students as well that we express our condolences and grief to them as well. I want to just, as well as Miss Seela's family, her sister is here today, Dr. Torrey, wanted to also express our condolences to her. And to the men and women of the Prince George's County Police Department, the chief wasn't exaggerating when he said these are some of the finest detectives in the country, and certainly want to thank them for their work. They worked day in, literally, and day out, along with our state's attorney and her team who are here today to bring a conclusion to this case. As well as Chief Bowers from Greenbelt City. Wanted to thank him for his leadership and hard work as well. These cases are cases that really do strike at the heart of all of us. To have a beloved member of our community taken away from us in this way is just so devastating. We have so much work to do. We are really, our resolve is strengthened. That we will continue to work hard to make sure that that every member of our community is safe. And I'd like to also say that we are in a time, especially as we approach this holiday weekend, where we want everyone, this case is still under investigation, and so we will know at the appropriate time how this case came to be. But I know there are so many, especially domestic violence victims, who are suffering at this moment, and want to remind them of the resources that we have available to them at the Family Crisis Center, for example. We'll make that information available, and to say to anyone who is aware of circumstances like this to please make sure they reach out to us and make sure that we can get the help that is needed. So again, thank you to Chief Aziz for his leadership, Mr. Stanton, who is here as well.
And thank you so much for our partner. I want to thank my partner, Chief Aziz, for your work on this case, as well as my partner, Chief Bowers, who from the very beginning, when Ms. Seela was determined that she was missing, worked tirelessly to track every lead down to find her. I want to thank my principal deputy, Jason Abbott, who worked with for 1:15 on Tuesday. So we look forward to continuing to update you as we move forward with this case. And
so you guys get the gist. They did, the teacher was assaulted. She was brutalized. She was killed as a result of her injuries. The injuries were very extensive. They did put out some of her injuries in diagrams, and they were pretty extensive. And they tried everything they could to save her, and they could not. They found the person that did it, and he is now behind bars at this time. It's just really, really sad. She was a teacher of our young children. Our children are, you know, they don't understand this stuff, and they have to now understand that somebody that they knew and loved, that taught them, is no longer coming back to them. That's No matter how old you are, when you're in school, you don't understand that. You don't. It does affect you. It does affect you. We're still getting through this stuff. We're getting through it. We're gonna. There's a few other things that I'm going to be talking to you guys about. This next one is a little concerning for me as well. Another gal that we'll just go ahead and play the clip and then we'll discuss. I don't want to give too much away.
She is a mom and a widow in Cincinnati. Okay, guys, so have you heard about the Cincinnati mom who was shot at her home but found states away? Let's talk about it. So this is 36-year-old Caitlin Lynch. She is a mom and a widow in Cincinnati, Ohio. On August 18th, 2023, cops responded to a report to Caitlin's house of shots fired. Now, upon arrival, police said that upon investigation, it appeared that a victim had been shot and hurt, possibly taken against her will in a vehicle.
So we do know that to be true. This was the TikTok that kind of, let me turn the volume up a little bit. This was the TikTok that actually brought me to this particular case. And it's really sad because this woman has already gone through so much. She lost her husband from unknown illness. I'm sure it's known to her, but it's not in these articles. And so this person that ended up injuring her was her husband's friend. It was his friend that fell on hard times, and she was trying to help this person out and gave them a place to stay. Again, she's probably, really emotional about the loss of her husband. And then you have a friend that's falling on hard times. Obviously, out of respect for your late husband, you're going to do everything to help his friend. You would think a normal person would most likely, act that way. This person, obviously, I looked at him, and the first thing that screamed out to me was drugs. Like, it really was. It seemed like he was on some type of something. And so they went out, before she disappeared, they were at this school function, or not school function, what am I saying? Work function, she brought him to there. They were drinking some alcoholic beverages, and then that night, and nothing, she basically, there was shots fired. Nobody knew where she was, and believe it or not, the guy was caught with her in the car. So he is now behind bars, and I just wanted to... we'll finish that up. I only listened to about a minute of this, but we'll listen to it and see if we'll just go to the next article where the person is actually identified. And here it is right here. So it's the Ohio mom of two allegedly kidnapped and murdered by late husband's friend. So, and you'll see a picture of him right there. That guy does not look like a wholesome character to me. I don't know whether he was a friend of my husband's or not, whether that particular person there would come in my house with my children. Because the first thing when I look at him that's screaming out to me is issues. His face screams issues. You can tell by his demeanor, and this is just a mugshot. But he would not be somebody that I would personally, I would help if it was my late husband's friend, but I don't know if I would bring him into my home with my children. And it ended up being a decision that her and her children and her family will have to live with the rest of their life. They believe that this man here had, some type of attraction to her. She was a beautiful woman. She was a beautiful woman, no doubt. But obviously, she wasn't trying to get with him. This was not. She was just trying to help out her late husband's friends. She's still reeling from the loss of her husband. Anybody that's lost a significant other understands that pain. It never really goes away. It just doesn't. So he's wanting to get with her. She's not wanting. So I believe while they were intoxicated, that this is when everything kind of spun out of control, and he ended up losing his stuff. He was probably turned down. She probably told him, "You need to get out of my house and never come back." there was a lot of things probably going on there that led to this. And I believe because of his past issues with substance abuse, in my opinion, just by the looking at him, I can tell he's had a rough life. People that have had a rough life or lived with people that have had a rough life can look at somebody and determine that this person has lived a rough life. I'm telling you, this guy looks like he's lived a rough life. I could be totally wrong, but I'm most likely not. Just an opinion. Either way, there you have it. You got to be careful of everybody, including people that say they're your friend. And when you're newly, freshly, widowed, don't trust any males, in my opinion, because sometimes their intentions are not your intentions. I have a trust issue with people, even people that I call friends. You always wonder. My BFF Laura, I don't even wonder with anymore. No matter what we go through, we'll always be fine at the end. That's just how we roll. I haven't seen her very much, but I know that no matter what, she'll always be there. So at the end of the day, if anybody has any information about this, please reach out to the Cincinnati Police Department, the Homicide Unit at 513-352-3542. Again, 513-352-3542. If you have any information, know either of the parties. Again, this is Lance Miller. That's Lance Miller. If you recognize him, let me put this back on here. If you recognize him, please reach out to law enforcement. If you saw him in the days around that, either before or after she was hurt, killed, please, again, reach out to law enforcement. If you have video, Ring doorbell cameras are in the area where this crime took place, go back on your video, Ring doorbell cameras, and see if you see any footage that might be relevant to the police department or the sheriff's department. Just do your part if you can. Now, this is going to be, let me see what else we have going on here. Dallas Amber Alert. I wonder if I should get to this one first, and then we'll go over to Alex Murdaugh. So, yeah, I think we should. So this is really a crazy story that kind of came across my desk, and this came across my desk originally as a Amber Alert, a 17-year-old Amber Alert. And if you know anything about me, when it comes to these older children in these Amber Alerts, I always wait a week or sooner whenever information starts breaking out. But I never jump on these cases that have the older adolescents at the very beginning. Why? Because we know for a fact that children between the ages of 14 to 18 are going through a lot of changes with their body, their minds, trying to find themselves, their identity. They have a propensity to run away from home. And some of those runaways get on the, and just because they're runaways doesn't mean that they're not in danger. Anybody that's not at home where they belong is in danger, period. Even if they're running away with friends, their friends are young, they're still in danger because they're naive, they're stupid, their brains haven't developed yet. Let's be honest, teenage kids can, are just, they think they're an adult, but even I, right? When I was young at that age, I wanted to be on my own. I wanted to be the adult. I wanted to make my own decisions. I didn't want somebody telling me what to do. So I understand that mentality that is, that we see in our teenagers. So I understand that. But again, they are putting themselves in danger and they don't even know it yet. They don't realize what they're doing. They could be running away with an older guy. Again, putting themselves in danger, putting themselves in harm's way because we don't know what this older person's intentions are. So even with the runaways, we know that they're putting themselves in danger. However, I have a policy here that unless there's movement on these cases, I don't really cover them because we have a lot of people looking around for kids that ran away. Now, is that fair? Is it not fair? No, it's not fair. It really isn't. But it's a necessary step that we have to take because we do cover cases that need to have attention to them, and we're not taking away from the runaway kids or the older children. I just give them just a few days extra before I run with their story because I like to see where it's going. Is this a runaway? Is this a person that's truly in need? Our time here is valuable. We need to be putting the cases that we can help the most out there. So, those are things that we have to weigh behind the scenes when covering these cases. Well, this was one that came to me as an Amber Alert. So naturally, I follow our procedures behind the scenes, which tell me that I can't to keep this on the back burner and just monitor it and see where it leads. And if we need to help, we can get flyers out there. We can start, helping, kind of similar to the Layla Santinello case. We didn't just, when we were approached with that case, we didn't just jump right into it. We gave it a little bit of time. But the problem with that case is there had already been 30 days that had passed. So we didn't give it a week. We gave it a few days, a few additional days, and jumped right in. This one came to not the ending that I would have expected. So this 17-year-old girl under an Amber Alert is now in jail for murder. And there's a second suspect that is at large. And again, this is a girl that had this transpired other ways.
Stay weather ready. Download the web. Fox 4's free weather app. If power goes out, you can still track the storm's movement and stay updated on watches and warnings. Fox 4 Weather is always here for you.
17-year-old who was briefly the subject of an Amber Alert earlier today is now the suspect in a murder. She and another man are charged with capital murder. Fox 4's David Santendry live at the Garland Police Department with more on this story. David.
Yeah, it's quite uncommon for an Amber Alert subject to wind up being a murder suspect. The 17-year-old girl was found in a border county near Mexico. The second suspect has not been caught. A 17-year-old girl is in custody and expected to be charged with murder just hours after an Amber Alert was issued to find her. Friday, Garland police detectives obtained warrants for Natalie Navarro and 21-year-old Jordi Martinez, shown here in a previous mugshot. They're accused of murdering 21-year-old Arturo Pena. Pena was found shot to death inside his vehicle at Audubon Park in Garland Tuesday after he had been reported as a missing person to Dallas Police Department 2 days earlier.
Trying to figure out exactly how they knew each other.
Garland police will not say what evidence led them to issue warrants for Navarro and Martinez. The department will not say what it believes the motive was.
We've yet to totally determine that.
The Amber Alert, a bizarre twist. It was requested by Dallas police after the department received a call the teen was missing and under potentially suspicious circumstances. The Amber Alert was issued overnight for Navarro before she was even identified as a murder suspect by Garland police. Garland PD says an agency in Webb County, that includes the border city of Laredo, found her because of the Amber Alert. Martinez was listed as a suspect in Navarro's disappearance in the Amber Alert. Pena's family expressed concern on a phone call with Fox 4 that Martinez could have crossed the border into Mexico. Martinez has a criminal history, including a felony indictment for allegedly shooting a gun into a house in Garland last November.
It's where we know Jordi to kind of be or have been in the past. Now, I don't know where Jordi is currently.
Back at Garland's Audubon Park, where Pena was killed, it's unclear what brought the 21-year-old here to begin with.
We don't know.
Garland PD says it obtained a search warrant for Pena's vehicle in hopes of finding evidence to answer questions about his murder.
There's a lot of stuff going out. We collected a lot of evidence, so we're trying to process everything right now.
So there you guys have it. It's just a wild, crazy, bizarre case of a girl that was on an Amber Alert that did the unthinkable, that was associated with the unthinkable. We've got to be careful. You know, it's hard for us as parents to know who our children are hanging out with all the time. But it is our responsibility to start noticing, especially when we start getting around the 13. They're going to be going through developmental changes anyways. They're going to be hard to handle. They're going to hate your guts. You're the worst person in the world. You never let them do anything. You never let them be independent. Good job. For the parents that are getting those kind of responses for your children, it sounds like you're parenting correctly, okay? It really does. It sounds like you guys are oh, wrong one. There it is. There it is. So all the parents out there that have your children telling you how horrible of a parent you are when you are there in their teenage years, it sounds like you're doing a pretty darn good job at parenting. If you're not getting that response from your children, then you might want to reconsider it, because those are the responses good parents are supposed to be getting from their children. I'm sorry. Your children are not supposed to be your friend. You want to have an open, good communication with them. But you need to be a parent. And I feel that a lot of people this day and age are failing to parent their children. They're wanting to be their friend. Sorry. No. Kids need authority figures. They need to know what life is about. They need somebody to teach them the knocks, the hard knocks of life. And when you're being their friend and letting them do whatever, that's not preparing them for that life. What you're preparing is to have a child that's on most likely drugs or alcohol that can't keep a job. That's what being a friend to your kid does. And if you don't believe me, check it out. Do your own research. But children need to be reared, and they need to be reared at home. It is not the school's responsibility to take care of your child and rear your child and make them respectable and respectful. That's your job at home. That's your job at home. So if you're not doing that, then, you may want to reconsider. Now, there are people that don't believe in corporal punishment, don't believe in hitting their children. For those parents, there's other punishment options available to you. But don't think because you don't hit your kid doesn't need to be disciplined. Your children absolutely need to be disciplined. Me personally, I believe in corporal punishment. You don't want your child to be injured. I don't believe in hitting a child out of anger. I believe in discipline, rearing of a child, teaching a child about life, teaching a child that certain things will get you in trouble, and there are consequences to those troubles that you have by way of getting a paddle on the butt, right? Definitely do not advocate for child abuse in any stretch of the imagination, but rearing a child is not child abuse, and I want to make sure that people out there understand that child rearing is still legal in all of our states, okay? Child abuse, on the other hand, not so much. Illegal in just about every state. So we love child rearing. We denounce child abuse. There is a big difference. Both of my kids told me I was a bad parent at least once every 2 weeks. Now they tell me I'm the best mom out there. Good for you. Good for you. Exactly, right? So, those moments when your child is, 18 and older, then you've done your job as a parent. Now you can be your child's friend. Now you can be the advisory role, right? Before you were the boss. This is how it goes. This is what you need to do. This is how you need to do it. Now they're 18, they're an adult. We hope that everything we taught them before the age of 18 sticks with them from that point on to the rest of their life. Now we can be of the advisory role where they come to us and ask us, for advice. Now we can let the guard down and not be so authoritarian. But when they're children and they're growing up, they need discipline, they need guidance, they need direction. It is the good habits that inspire them when they get into adulthood, Those are a lot of things. Like, my mom did everything for me. You come here, I want to call my mom to clean my house. Nobody quite cleans like mom. Right? So, there's a lot of things that parents do that are detrimental to their child's upbringing. Like, never allowing them to clean or making them force them to clean. Like, as an adult, I struggle. Kitchen's got to be clean. But laundry, I'll go pull what I need out when I need to get it out, right? So, when we were younger, we were so happy. We have this built-in maid. She paddles our butts often, but she cleans our room and we have hot food, okay? A paddle a day keeps the belly from growling. Paddle that rear end, okay? If I can get somebody to cook and clean, I will take a licking every single day of the week just to have a hot meal and a clean house. Don't make me be bad, okay? I'm just joking. So getting on to Buster, we know that Buster, it's really weird. This is what I can tell you about Buster. I don't know how quite, I feel, about Buster's ability to tear up on cue. Okay, we know that he is the offspring of Alec Murdaugh. We know that Alec Murdaugh, for whatever reason, favored Buster over Paul. Paul was the little detective. Paul got Alec in trouble. Paul was a mama's boy. It seemed like Buster was Alec's pride and joy. Okay? He's the one that was not injured in any of this mess. Alec is spending the rest of his life in prison. And Buster is walking away with at least $500,000 in his pocket out of all of this. Okay? So he's being put in a position, in a heck of a lot better position than anybody in the family. We know through the hearing with Alec Murdaugh, there was a few things that was stated over and over again by the witnesses that knew Alec, that were friends with Alec, that worked next to Alec. And one of those things is that he knew what made people tick. We heard that statement over and over and over again in his trial, that we know that he knows what makes people tick. And his great ability to really pull at the heartstrings of the jurors and even crying on cue. Right? Now, would it be so hard to believe that his child learned some of those habits? Buster is, from my knowledge, was going to be following in his father's footsteps. He was going to be going in and working as a lawyer. He probably got a lot of experience from watching his own father practice law. For me, I can electrify a house, right? I can wire a house I don't do the panel box. I don't balance the panel box. I don't mess with that. That's one thing. When I was doing work, with my father, you got to remember, I was on my dad's truck since I was 2 years old. So there was only certain things that I could touch. I've done a lot. I've dug ditches. I've pulled wire. I've wired a house. I've wired a house from just studs. And had to look at blueprints and stuff like that. That's just from me just riding on the truck with my father at a young age. And as I grew up, I learned how to dig ditches. I was now changing out receptacles and switches. I was now, running new lines for lights and stuff like that on residential properties that were already built, not new construction, repair work and things. And that was just the stuff that I witnessed from riding on the vehicle with my dad. Can you imagine watching your father prep for trial, watching your father practice what he's going to say in the courtroom, things of that nature? So this stuff, I think, would have rubbed off on Buster. And so when I saw him tearing up in this interview, it just fell on deaf ears. I'm like, okay, this is his father's son. He can cry on cue, no different than his father. I just don't. It was literally in the first few moments of the interview, almost shut me down right then. Like, at this point, I don't believe anything he says anymore. And I don't know why I felt that way. And I never even finished watching the interview. So I've said, you know what? I know that I need to watch it. We need to discuss it. So what the heck? We're going to do that here this morning. We're going to watch a little bit of it. And I want to, and it's going to be this one that I open the phone lines up because I want to hear what your thoughts are on this. Do you believe Buster? Do you not believe Buster? I'm not sure how, but when it comes to the teary-eyed crap, knock it off. I'm telling you, it almost shuts me down. Seeing him tear up, it shut me down. I'm like, nope. You couldn't even tear up for your own freaking mother and your brother in the courtroom. But you can cry about this. No. No, 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 no. No. I said no.
Well, Buster Murdaugh sat down with Martha McCallum of Fox News to break his silence for the first time since the trial. Let's watch a bit of that interview right now.
12 jurors all agreed that your dad killed your mom and Paul.
That's right.
What do you think about that?
I do not believe it was fair.
Why?
I was there for 6 weeks studying it, and I think it was a tilted table from the beginning. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of the jurors felt that way prior to when they had to deliberate. It was predetermined in their minds prior to when they ever heard any shred of evidence.
Well,
I gotta be honest with you. That is just it. His mother and brother are dead. They were senselessly gunned down, and Alec lied from the very beginning. He wasn't at the dog kennels. He wasn't at the dog kennels. He hadn't seen them. He hadn't been around them. And little by little, every one of those statements were debunked by real, authentic evidence that was submitted in trial. And still, after all of that, he can still sit up here. Now, granted, everybody's going to say, well, it is his father. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It is his father. But let me tell you, that father killed the woman that gave birth to that boy. Senselessly. Over money. Over money. And just because you're blind, Buster, doesn't mean the rest of the country is. And I'm very sorry that you keep finding the need to disparage your mother's name and your brother's name on the backs of your father. As hard of a pill this is to swallow, how can you deny? We all sat there and heard. The GM tracker. What? Buster, when are you going to take those blinders off your eyes, babe? Like, they literally had the GM tracking that came in after the trial had started, that showed his movements, his exact coordinates, his speed. They knew exactly when he left the Moselle property and exactly when he showed up at his mother's house and exactly how long he stayed there and exactly what route he took home. And then boom, a video comes out, and now he's with Paul earlier that day. Because Paul calls his friend. Thank God Paul loves his phone and is on social media a lot and keeps in contact with his friends. Otherwise, we would not have had that clip of Alec Murdaugh being out there at the kennels minutes before they were gunned down brutally, and he didn't hear anything. Give me a break. I feel bad for Buster, but in the world of information, it's really hard to be ignorant. It's really hard. You have to work really hard to stay ignorant in the world of all this information and social media and just true information and record requests. Like, Buster knew what was going on, but Buster he knew what was going on. You do think James Griffin wasn't keeping him abreast of what was going on, or the Murdaugh family of what's going on? Give me a break. Give me a break. Everybody knew. Everybody.
Well, you do have a thing called voir dire or voir dire, where you can question the prospective witnesses and make sure that they're fair and impartial. And by the way, Alec Murdaugh wanted the trial in that courthouse because that was his home court advantage. That's where he won all those millions of dollars down there in the Low Country. But it turned out the way it did. But now, I am not necessarily shocked that Buster Murdaugh doesn't think necessarily, I'm not sure if he necessarily thinks his father is guilty or it just wasn't a fair trial. But it's always difficult for parents, for children, to believe that one parent killed the other. And I agree with that. Matter how
I agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree that, nobody wants to believe this, but, at some point, when is Buster going to be defending his mother and his brother? When are they going to get a Murdaugh voice in all of this? I mean, Alec has his voice. He's got his whole rich family backing him. Buster, same. The Murdaugh family is just wrapping them around with just taking Buster on in. So what? When is somebody going to be the voice for Maggie? When is somebody going to be the voice for Paul in the Murdaugh family? When is somebody going to have the kahunas in the Murdaugh family to say, he's a bad apple? Chalk it up as a lesson. We failed. The Murdaugh family has failed. You guys were in power, and look at what was going on under your watch and under your nose. And 2 people are dead as a result of that. When is the Murdaugh family going to detach themselves from the weight that's dragging them down and be on the right side and be advocating and doing something kind and in the honor of Paul and Maggie? I'm waiting. I'm waiting, Murdaugh family. Rich, prestigious, powerful Murdaugh family. Buster, waiting for you too, babe. Waiting for you too, babe. So for those that weren't here yesterday, we're on CROTCH-GATE 2023. Can't. We never even made it through this whole thing. I couldn't quit laughing. I laughed so hard I was crying yesterday. We're going to try to make it through the whole 2 minutes and 42 seconds of CROTCH-GATE. And then we're going to open up the phone lines. This is it. We're going to open up the phone lines after this. We got 2 minutes. Now, guys, if you haven't peed yet, go pee. Don't be drinking anything during this. I don't want you choking or having stuff shooting out your nose. So, let's get on to CROTCH-GATE. Shall we? Oh, Lordy. I just want to tell you, we're all going. You know where we're all going.
Just a quick word from our sponsor.
Continue your educational journey online at Arizona State University. Recognized as the nation's most innovative university, ASU offers more than 300 programs online, all designed and taught by our award-winning faculty of researchers, scientists, inventors, and authors. Discover what sets us apart. Connect with an ASU enrollment advisor and explore a variety of financial aid and scholarship options, as well as how to transfer pre-existing credits. Visit asuonline.asu.edu.
Bryan Kohberger's attorneys fight over footage of his crotch by Matthew Impelli. Lawyers for Idaho quadruple murder suspect Bryan Kohberger recently argued that cameras in court are focusing too much on their client's crotch and should be removed from future hearings. Last week, lawyers for Kohberger filed a motion in court for the removal, citing several issues with past camera footage, including a claim that some cameras have been targeting his fly. Mr. Kohberger is entitled to defend himself against capital criminal charges without cameras focused on his fly, Kohberger's lawyers said in a motion August 24. On Wednesday, several media outlets, including the Associated Press, filed a motion to intervene, asking the court to allow cameras in Kohberger's coming hearings. In addition, although Mr. Kohberger argues that he is entitled to defend himself against capital charges without cameras focused on his fly, that assertion misstates the role that courtroom camera coverage played in the X, formerly Twitter, social media post that appears at page 3 of his motion. No photographs or camera coverage focused on Mr. Kohberger's fly, the motion filed by the news outlet said. Kohberger, 28, was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary in the fatal stabbings of Kaylee Gonsalves, 21, Madison Mogan, 21, Ethan Chapin, 20, and Shauna Kernodle, 20. All 4 victims were students at the University of Idaho when the killings occurred. The motion filed by the news organizations goes on to state that camera coverage in the courtroom is not specifically focused on Kohberger but instead shows a wide variety of coverage of the overall case. Kohberger has maintained his innocence and previously stood silent on the charges, allowing the judge to enter not guilty pleas for each. Earlier this month, Kohberger appeared in court for a status hearing where he decided to waive his right to a speedy trial. The decision canceled the previously planned start date of October 2 for a trial, and a new date has yet to be determined. Lada County Prosecutor Bill Thompson announced in June that the state was seeking the death penalty for Kohberger, saying he exhibited utter disregard for human life in the deaths of the 4 students. Prosecutors also previously announced that a DNA swab taken from Kohberger while in custody was a statistical match to the sample found on a knife sheath at the crime scene. Kohberger's attorneys are working to have the grand jury indictment of their client tossed. Newsweek reached out to Ann Taylor, Kohberger's public defender, via email on Thursday for comment. Just a quick...
Let me guess. No comment from Ann C. Taylor. So there you have it. That is CROTCH-GATE 2023. I just dropped a poll. I just dropped a poll, and it says, do you think the cameras are focusing on his junk? I'm curious to know your thoughts. Do you believe that they are... I almost was going to go through. To be honest with you, I almost replaced Bryan Kohberger's face with his package. I thought that was so inappropriate. I'm like, I can't. But I should. But I just can't. I can't. But I have to say, with all the seriousness of this case, these little tidbits of comedy that we can laugh at in some of the stuff is ridiculous. But the reality is they're really trying very hard to defend this man. And when you're in a case, you have to sometimes use strategies. The defense has to use strategies because there's no other options that they can have. They have, and they have to be, their arguments have to be, they have to have merit. You just can't just throw frivolous stuff out there without merit. It's against a whole bunch of stuff, including professional, your professional regulations that you're required to, being under the bar. You have professional regulations that these attorneys have to abide by as well. So you can't just be going around and just throwing frivolous stuff out there without doing your due diligence. You just can't. So I don't know if this seems really borderline frivolous to me, or without merit, or without good cause, because I have not overly seen, it's kind of a hard thing to keep a straight face to discuss, but I haven't seen an over amount of crotch publications related to Bryan Kohberger. With that being said, I don't know how they're going to prove that they're focusing on his crotch, because the first argument was they were predominantly focusing on his face. They didn't want him to be focused on his face. So I don't know how I don't know how to discuss this. I don't know how to discuss this and not have this smile and this laugh on my face. I've been trying for 2 days. We're just going to have to work through it because I really want to have this discussion. But do we really feel that the media is now just starting to focus on his junk? I'm starting to think that this is ludicrous, okay? Like, this is just grasping at straws. For me, this seems like a desperate attempt from the defense. A desperate attempt. That's not a good look for a defense. I'm sorry. Desperation is not a good look, and this feels really desperate to me. But that's just my feelings. Those are just my feelings. I'm not you, you're not me. We all have our own opinion about this matter. We all have our own opinion about Buster. I'm almost disgusted with Buster at this point. I don't know how to explain it other than that. I am literally just disgusted with his behavior during the trial. I thought his behavior was totally inappropriate. There was a lot of things that he did. He had to be moved back in the seating because of some of the hand gestures or looks that he was giving some of the witnesses. Totally and highly inappropriate. Inappropriate behavior. So again, that's just my feelings about it, you know? Who am I, right? Who am I? That's just my opinions. What are yours? What are yours? I'm interested in knowing. I'm interested in knowing your opinions. I've got the phones open for those that would like to call in. I'm going to have to monitor the timing on these calls. We have about a half hour to get through several calls for those that would like to call in. So depending on our level of call-ins, we'll decipher how long they're going to be, okay? So hopefully we'll keep it between about 5 minutes if you can. This is Betty.
Good morning, butt sniffing Betty and my crotch watching coffee clubbers.
Ruby, I was wondering, I'm like, I think this is Ruby. How are you doing, love?
I'm doing all right. I am kind of busy this weekend doing a few RV repairs. I've had a couple of leaks, and so I'm making those repairs and stuff and brainstorming to do some more insulation before winter gets here, because I have a funny feeling after the harsh summer that we've had, we're going to have a really bad winter. I just have that gut feeling.
Yeah, unfortunately, Florida, it seems like we have like a cold Halloween and then like a steamy hot Christmas morning. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
Like once every 10 years we'll wake up and it'll be so cold, and it really does feel like Christmas, but for the most part here in Florida, it's very few and far between.
Yeah, we actually got about 2 foot of snow a couple of years ago here, and thank God I was stationary at the time, stationary where I'm at now, but I'm still on the lake. But yeah, we got 2 foot of snow, and the water stayed froze up for a long time. And even when I ain't got no water, you best believe I'm still taking a hoe bath.
Oh, yeah.
So if you don't know what a hoe bath is, look it up.
PTA.
Exactly. So that girl that didn't want to take a bath, there ain't no excuse for that, because even when you ain't got water, you can go to the Dollar Tree and get a package of wet wipes.
Imagine? I just feel so bad for her grandparents. Like, just, can you imagine how hard they must have it? Like, they've probably lived, you know, they probably struggled most of their life to give their, just like every family, to give their family the best leg up, and then they have this ungrateful brat of a 22-year-old granddaughter, and she can't even, like, you're providing the shelter. Like, she's not paying for the freaking water. Like, get in there and scrub your ass. Excuse my language, but
exactly, no doubt. There's just,
like, I'm a female.
there ain't no excuse.
I'm a tomboy too. Like, I've gone camping, you know, but we bring bottles of water. We know how to clean ourselves. Like, we don't go days.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, I have showered. Well, you know, like in the summertime, because I'm out here in my bathing suit all the time anyway. I shower off in the water hose before I ever even come in my RV, because, you know, I don't want to bring that stink and sweat and dirt and all that nasty mess in, you know, so I'll just shower off outside, you know, in the water hose, and then, you know, take a hot shower later on that night. But
I've got an outdoor shower.
yeah, there's no excuse for
rinse off.
I have a shower in my RV, but I use an outside shower, an outdoor shower, because I do not run the propane here in my camper, because I just have terrible thoughts of, you know, a leak and blowing up and stuff. Many years ago, there was a family, a lady and her young daughter and her young niece in my hometown, and they had a gas leak, and their house blew up.
Yeah, I've heard of those before, but I got to be honest with you, being an electrician's daughter, I can tell you that the majority of RV fires that I've ever seen were the old electrical, unmaintained electrical in them, because they're they're all wood, so you get a little spark. That's all it takes in one of those things, and they have to be light because they can't have concrete. They would be you wouldn't be able to move them. They have to.
Right, right.
You know. So.
But so what I was going to say about Bryan is that I think this is just a matter of some media outlet had their camera not angled the right height or something like that. And, or maybe they were possibly had it aimed towards his waist to see if he came in, you know, like shackles or handcuffs or something, you know, trying to get a shot of that or something.
But they're doing it basically to abide by the order that's in place right now. I don't think that they're, you know, that's why I'm saying that this seems so just desperate to me. It's hard for me not to think that this looks like a desperate attempt to just slow stuff up.
Yeah, just trying to find any excuse to keep those cameras out of that courtroom. But you know what? I'll say it again.
The judge in general, I feel like that it's just anything to keep this ball moving down the road, keep them looking at other things, keep them on their toes. I'm like, like this is such a stupid argument in my opinion that I just keep wondering, you know, is this just another attempt to slow the case down? Now they have a hearing on this, you know, instead of being able to have a hearing on that.
It could be. I just wonder if that comment comes from Bryan himself or if that's some bull crap that Ann Taylor came up with.
Well, if it comes from anybody in their campus, it's but I don't know who's, you know, a lot of people have been saying, you know, because Bryan Kohberger has this PhD in criminology and everything, they believe he's helping his defense, which I think he's helping, you know, his defense, and he's helping make decisions, but people are equating a criminology degree to a law degree, and they're totally, totally different. He does not have
absolutely.
legal you know, like lawyer type of experience. He has more of
that's a whole other ball game.
Right.
Because I've done 3 years of criminal justice, and you know, while I learned, you know, a few laws in all of my different classes and stuff that I took, you know, law school, that's a totally separate schooling and ball game and stuff, you know. And I've been thinking about him and how he, you know, thinks he's the smartest person in the room. So that was kind of why I wondered if that comes from him or if that comes from N.C. Taylor, and are we going to see another narcissistic Jodi Arias?
I have to think. Thank you, Lady 7-Up. I turned up the mic. I forgot I turned it down a little bit. So, but yeah, I got to think that this is yes, Jodi Arias type, but we have to recall that, you know, we don't know the crime scene. Like, I expect that this, from everything that we were described at the beginning, you know, with law enforcement, with a little bit of details of the interior that they did discuss, it sounded like it was a very horrifying scene. It was, and I think that's what people, I don't think that the public is prepared for how graphic this house would have been.
Hey, I'm still trying to get those photos of Travis Alexander out of my head.
Yeah, this is going to be extensive, and quite frankly, I'm going to be in Idaho for that trial. So, you know, I'm going to be there.
I would love to be able to try to go out there. I'd been thinking about it, that, you know, about possibly staying with my daughter just outside of Seattle and, you know, drive over to Idaho, stay a couple of days, go back to her house, drive back a couple of days, you know, because there would be no way I could afford to stay there, you know.
It's going to be a pretty penny. I'm trying my best to save the money now, because it's going to be in the thousands. I mean, you got to remember, when we were in Georgia for that month, that cost me, I want to say $7,800 or more. That was where I stopped at.
Yeah, I know. I remember.
I didn't want to know
how
much
you didn't anticipate staying that long.
Mm-hmm.
But and then, as far as Buster goes, I'm going to tell you from my own experience that accepting that a family member killed someone, much less two other family members, that is a hard thing to accept. It is very hard to accept that, your family member took not only someone else's life, but someone else that you loved and was close to you. Now, I know people that are in prison for different crimes and stuff. I even know a guy that's serving life without parole because he walked in and caught his wife in bed with another man and shot them both.
Oh, yeah.
But he's still a nice guy. And there are some things that I can overlook because I think that much of somebody. Like, my friendship with somebody is not based on the crime they committed. And I mean, like I said, I know people that they're in there for drug charges and there's, a few that have killed people, but unless you just go out and, kill a bunch of kids or, just go out and just do cold-blooded, things like that, I'm not going to sit and judge, somebody let's say you caught your boyfriend or husband in bed with another woman or whatever and shot them both. I'm still going to be your friend. I'm still going to write you letters and put money on your books, and because I think more of you than that.
Right.
But with Buster, I think that he would lie to save his dad's skin. I mean,
it's not uncommon.
anybody and everybody can make the argument that a trial wasn't fair or that people already had their mind made up, when they went in there because of a lot of publicity, and this was a high-profile case and everything. I can understand where he's coming from on that, but I really kind of think that Buster would lie for his father, but I also feel like I just don't think he wants to accept his father killing his mother and brother. That is a hard pill to swallow.
It's a hard pill to swallow, but I just wish anybody would stick up for Maggie and Paul, because right now from where I'm sitting, nobody's doing that. And it's to me, her family is, but it needs to be the Murdaughs. It needs to be the Murdaughs. Yes, and they just refuse to do anything or say anything about Maggie and Paul. It's like, even with Alec being convicted and in prison for 2 life sentences without parole, it's like it's not enough for them. He's their golden child. Meanwhile, there's a young man and his mother in a grave that they used to call family, and that's to me very heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Anyways, Ruby, I gotta run. We gotta get to another person.
So. Okay, well, y'all have a good day.
You
Take
too.
care,
God
everybody.
bless you, honey.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
The phones are back open. I did see somebody call in when she first got on here. If you would like to call back, the phones are now open. I turn the phones off whenever I have somebody on it because I don't like that beep, 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 beeping. While they're talking, I find it very distracting. So I find it easier just to go ahead and turn it off when the call comes in. Usually I call the call back if I recognize the number, but I didn't recognize the number. Let me see what number it was. It was, oh wow, it's a 715 number, 715 number. They called in. So if you want to call back, now would be a great time for you to call back. Anyways, we have the people. Let's see what you got to say here. Sweetie Pie says, poor Buster is just clinging to his father. Yeah, and I get that. I feel bad for him. I do feel bad for him, but it breaks. I can't imagine, because of a Buster, of all of them, even if he was a little troubled child here or there, all kids can be. Let's be honest. I'm not saying anything like that. But he went from having this amazing life, a life that many of us would be so fortunate to have. At the end of the day, we all look at a lifestyle that they had, not caring for money, all these things, the prestige, the power, the legacy, the name, how proud it was to be a Murdaugh, right? And then he went from having this family that was vibrant to no family, to him being all alone. I can't even imagine what that's like. Well, good afternoon, Mother Bullhorn. How are you doing, madam?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. What's shaking, bacon?
Storm, I'm sitting here watching my grass grow over 6 inches, but it's like a swamp. I can't cut it.
I need to get the tire fixed on the rider. I'm tired of paying.
I was over there the other day and I said, let's get it fixed. No, Mom.
Yeah, I just got to get it over to the neighbor.
I think CROTCH-GATE is so ridiculous. It's another ploy to keep him in the news. I think that
Mom, I gotta tell you, I don't mean to distract your thought process, but hearing my mother say CROTCH-GATE, I don't know the feelings I am feeling quite right at this moment about hearing you say that, but continue.
Oh, well, it's no different than me hearing you say it, but you made me lose my train of thought.
I know I was going to. I'm so sorry.
I think that hearing the other day was so frivolous. I don't even think they should have continued it. I think the judge should have stepped in and dismissed it. Yeah. It's becoming ridiculous and frivolous. They were probably, you were right, they were probably, like Amy said, aiming at his handcuffs, to see if he was coming in cuffed. It's ridiculous. It is so, well, and another thing, when the judge was considering cameras, he set a guideline, and you could not aim the cameras towards the defendant's face. You could not aim the cameras toward their laptops or paperwork. So what gives? They didn't narrow in on his face. Excuse me, his face.
Apparently, they narrowed in on his fly. I mean, you just can't make this stuff up. I'm serious. It's like, I don't know what to make about it, because at first we thought they were arguing that they were focusing in on the face. When you go back and look at all the videos, you can see that that's an untrue statement. Yeah, they did focus on his face a handful of times, but that they could. The order said they're not allowed to focus extensively on him, and I don't think that I think they've followed the order, and now it went from them focusing on his face to them focusing on his crotch. Like, what thumbnail has his crotch on it? I'm waiting. I was going to be the first today, and I just thought it was highly inappropriate. But who knows? I might get some kahunas and might do it tomorrow.
I was looking yesterday when I saw CROTCH-GATE come up. I was looking for a zipper and a gate to post.
That is a good one. That might be it. That might be it tomorrow. Maybe we'll put that to some good use.
A zipper and a gate.
You know what? Maybe we should do, I don't know. Maybe we should do a, I I'm wondering if we should do like a shirt giveaway. Like people bring, submit their CROTCH-GATE thumbnails. The best CROTCH-GATE thumbnails will give away a free Bullhorn Betty shirt from Sonia.
Oh.
And they can pick whatever shirt they want, and I'll purchase it. Maybe that's what we need to do. If we can get at least 10 thumbnails, that's what we'll do. We'll do that right now. If we can get at least 10 thumbnails submitted for CROTCH-GATE and something that we can vote on, the winner of the thumbnails, the winning thumbnail after vote by our audience will get a free Bullhorn Betty shirt. So submit those to bullhornbetty@gmail.com. We need at least 10 in the drawing, And just submit it to Bullhorn Betty. No purchase required, as always, and we will give you guys a free shirt to the lucky winner. Okay, go ahead.
Well, that was about all I had to say. My feelings, I channel the same expressions as Ruby, and it's like, and the haters, oh my gosh, they're diving in on poor Dolly too. It's like, what is going on?
Because
People do nothing all day, but
I think they're threatened because they're not doing really anything. I think that's really what it is. They feel threatened because they've been able to just discuss these cases for so long and be able to make monetization off of it, and now the bar's being pushed where you just can't make monetization. The audience expects you to give back, and there's a lot of creators not giving back, and there's other creators that are giving a whole lot. And I think that those creators that are giving a whole lot,
get out there.
Huh?
My goodness! I said all they have to do is get up and get out there.
That's what I try to explain.
But stealing everybody else's work.
Right.
But
it's easier for them to sit at home and complain and steal copyrighted content from these creators that are live streaming and take the viewership from their channels over to their channels without having to get off their ass and do a damn thing. That is the comfort level, and that needs to quit here on YouTube. It is unlawful to do.
You have some very honorable mods out there on TikTok that shoot down all the vile crash stuff.
Right. But that's why because it's easier to steal our content and sit at home and criticize us as an effort to find a way to steal our content so you can sit at home and complain about us. But it's another thing to actually get off your butt. What would be good is if they could come out there and get their own content of us and complain about us with their own content. But what they're doing is we're spending all the money to go out and help these families, and they're lifting our content under the guise that they're complaining about what we're doing. So there's some issues.
Oh, yeah, and they're still making money off of it.
And they're making money off of our work that we paid
for. It's like negative
advertising.
It's like the negative political commercials.
Mm-hmm. Which I dealt with that. I mean, that's what this has been definitely an experience on here. It's an experience that with my legal background, know that it's highly unlawful to do, and we just got
the bantering. Just the bantering on that one picture you posted of your hair. I went in there to comment, and all I saw were like 27 puns against your blonde hair.
I know that because all they've got is insults. It's just I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. This is just drama.
Yeah, I know it is a rabbit hole. Yeah. It needs to be covered up and concrete put over it.
Yeah. Well, we can only do one thing at a time. So we're doing what we can do when we can do it to try to tamper down on some of this stuff.
Well, I didn't think Turkey Man would call today because he's probably working on his sermon.
Oh.
So I
needed to call him back. I've just been so sidetracked because I've been doing so much work here. I've been just inundated with work, so I've got to try to find some time to call people. But anyways, Mom, I'm gonna let you go. We're at the top of our second hour.
Well, have good luck.
All right, Mom. I love you.
Everyone. Bye.
Bye. So there's Mom Bullhorn. Let me turn this volume back up if you guys can't hear me. I don't know if you guys can or not. But yeah, I just don't want to get into the drama with that because it's a sore subject and it does kind of pull me in just a little bit. But it's nonsense here on YouTube, and I think that people need to stop. If you want to cover true crime, cover true crime. You don't need to put other people down in order to do it. You don't need to cause friction or damage in a family that's already struggling. For the views. The views will come. If you put out, I truly believe, if you put out good content, the views will come. You don't have to be insulting people. You don't have to, oh, I didn't realize my camera's still off. You don't have to be mean or nasty to people. If you want to cover true crime, cover true crime. If you get a good interview, get a good interview. But you don't need to disparage people to do it. That says more about you as a creator than it does about anybody else, because you've got to be so nasty and vile to put somebody down in order to get this. It's a lot of nonsense, and it's not beneficial to the cases at all. I really try to get out there. I try to help. Yes, we record it, and yes, we make profit off the videos and stuff that we do put out there on the monetization. But at least you guys get the receipts of seeing where my money goes, right? Because we all know that traveling to these places isn't cheap. We know by other creators that we don't get a whole lot of money on AdSense. We do get some money on subscriptions and memberships. Those really are what supports this channel, is those memberships, more so than any ad revenue I can get. We don't really get a whole lot of super apps, super stickers, super chats on this channel. We don't get a whole lot of Venmo, CashApps, PayPals. Occasionally we do, but for the most part throughout the year, no, we don't. So all of this stuff, we have to budget and balance everything in order to keep the lights on, the internet on, and to be able to travel out there. And we do it on a beer budget. I mean, to be honest with you, Olivia and I went through 4 states, and our budget was right under. Our budget was $1,000, and we came literally right under that $1,000 for that entire trip. That's real money that has to be paid. It's not cheap to get out there. So these people are able to stay home, take our content that we paid that $1,000 to get. They can just say, oh, we don't like what she's doing. Here, let me show you. Right? So now they're trying to say that that this fair use applies to our entire content, which it does not. And so now they're taking that content from our audience and taking it over to their channel. Now, again, they didn't pay for it. They didn't ask permission to use it. But they think because as long as they criticize the entire thing, because they don't understand fair use, and fair use says if it's for criticism, but it's for snippets. It's not for the whole thing. And pausing it and showing the entire thing is not snippets. It's not 20 seconds of the entire video. It's the entire video you're showing that you're just pausing. That doesn't cover fair use. It just doesn't. So what they're telling people, because it is they read it that as long as they criticize it, they can steal that content from that creator. So what do? They steal our content and they criticize the entire thing while showing their audience the entire video that, again, they didn't pay to create. They did not create it. And they're trying to raise this thing called fair use that is for a snippet of the content. A snippet. Not the whole content being used in a whole live and just being paused every couple seconds. That's not a snippet. That's snippets of the entire content. That's a clear violation of fair use. But again, it's not enforced here on YouTube. And it's not required to be enforced here on YouTube. It's required that if there is a violation, you have to take it to court. That's the only place to resolve it. Or the content creator removes it or pays you for it. That's how it works. So when you hear all these content creators criticizing our work while playing all of our work on their channel, you have to understand why they're doing that. They're doing that because they're lazy, they're stealing, They're stealing from people that are getting out there and doing it because they could go out there with their own cameras. Like if they really wanted to expose us, they know where we're going. They could come out with their own cameras and set them up and watch us and take their content, their own content, and criticize us with. But again, they don't want to spend the money. They don't want to do the work. And this is where we come in the system. It just is how it is. So remember, there's a reason why they keep criticizing us, but they keep running our stuff. Haven't you ever noticed that? They hate us so much, but they keep watching us day after day. It's because they're stealing money to make their money under the guise of criticism. That is what they are doing. And now you know. Now you know. Now they're going to come out and make 15 more videos, but if you go to any of these channels and you watch their content for anybody else, they have no numbers. The minute they put me, Dolly, JLR, somebody else in their title, their numbers go up substantially. So meanwhile, they're pointing at us saying that we do it for click and the view. Like I could care less. My content's going up whether you guys watch it or not. Period, right? That's the way it is. I went out and got it and it's going up. If you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't, don't. It doesn't bother me. But I find it funny that the reason why they keep having to harass us is because that's the only time they actually make the numbers for their own pockets. Because go to any of these creators, look at all the videos that have not one of our names in it. You got few hundred views. You put Dolly Vision, JLR, me, MGL in there, they get 2,500 views. Go look for yourself. I'm not going to produce the receipts. You can go look. Go look anywhere you want. Go look at their numbers when they're not talking about us and look at the numbers when they are. Now you tell me, is this because they don't like us? Or is this because they want to steal money from us, steal people from us, and make money for their pockets while not doing anything for these families? None. Meanwhile, while we're having to struggle to bring money to make flyers, $150 worth of flyers, not cheap. Not cheap. So, anyways, that's just my rant. You know, I wish this stuff would come to an end because there's no need to be. If you want to cover true crime, cover true crime. Why do you need to attack people to do it? That's my question. That will always be my question. If you don't like the way that we're doing things, then don't criticize us. Do it better, and get the audience the authentic and old-fashioned way because you earned it, not because you had to destroy somebody through lies to get it. Just do it authentically. You'll find out you put a better product out there, you're going to have an instability in subscribers for a little minute, but people that are there for the content of true crime will start coming to that chat room because you're truly a chat for true crime. When you sit there and you spend, like on this channel, we spend hours on the true crime and a few minutes on the complaints and the drama. Other channels spend 15 minutes on the true crime and spend the next 5 hours moaning and groaning and complaining. That's not true crime. That's a complaint channel that has a splash of true crime in it. You know? So hopefully, you know, these creators start getting on board, start doing a better job, start, you know, working these cases and getting these faces out there. If truly you're here to try to help and truly true crime is your passion, get back to true crime. Get back to helping families. Get back to putting those faces out there without having to destroy other people to do it. What's so wrong with that? Is that really that hard to do here on YouTube and other social media platforms? When did the days of us destroying other women become okay? We are here to empower and uplift people. You know, one thing I can tell you, and this is a true story, I'm not going to bring friends' names in it, but I have two friends that are opposites, you know, in a sense. And you guys know I know a lot of different creators. These are creators that I know, friends. And one friend, every time you do good is jealous or wants to cause a wrinkle, just not happy about your success. They're kind of like, oh, well, that, whatever. And then I got this other friend that they see you doing good. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I'm so happy for you. You know what I'm talking about? Those things. That's what we should be like. We should be happy about other people's successes and strifes and challenges and achievements. Why does it have to be so nasty? It doesn't have to be this way. People are making it this way, but what they're trying to do is point the finger at the people that are showing their receipts and acting like they're not showing their receipts, that they're conning and scamming people. Meanwhile, they're never showing one iota of receipts. They're the ones making bank off their people under all these other guises of bullshit, and never once lifting a finger to really help a family. Meanwhile, convincing their audience that the people that are truly helping the family are some kind of barbarians out to make a buck. Lady, like, seriously, get a grip. We spend a lot of money. People see our receipts. And if you don't believe it, maybe you should start spending some money to come out and getting an idea of how much this stuff costs. Maybe if you got off your butt, made your way on out there, had to spend the money to have hotels, food, things of that nature, and God forbid, every time we go out to something, equipment goes wrong. You got to go buy something that costs a couple $100 every damn trip because something's not working. Batteries go out in the cars. Car problems. I mean, I've even had, if I was home, I would have been able to fix it for $150 when my back brakes went out. But because I was in Tennessee and on the back roads, I had to pay a shop to do them. It cost almost $600. When you got $300 in your bank account, These are, it's just, I just wish this whole thing is not pity me. I'm not, that's not it. This is not asking anybody for anything. We've been doing just fine, but this is just putting it out there to letting people know that, hey, if you're going to sit here and continue to spend lots, get your butt up and show up. See where our money is truly going. Quit lying about it. I mean, you guys are investigators, so to speak. You guys do your due diligence and your research. Good God knows that you guys do your research, right? I question that. But why don't you just do your research? Come out and see what we do. Spend the money to get out there. See how expensive it is. I guarantee when these creators that hate on us so much actually get out there and start doing the stuff that we do, they will be understanding it very, very quickly. They'll see their bank account go. I had to sell a truck. I had to sell my pickup truck to maintain. You know what I'm saying? I did that, a year and a half ago, but I had to sell it just to be able to maintain this work. So it's expensive. It's expensive. And I hope people just get on board. You do not have to destroy people. You do not have to try to destroy other people's businesses, business design. Every penny that I make from this channel and other channels go back into getting me out to these cases to cover them. I don't understand how that's such a hard concept to understand. We can't help if we're broke. We can't help put flyers in somebody's hands if we have no money to buy the flyers. I mean, this is the most insane stuff I've ever heard in my life. Like, you can't even breathe air this day and age without paying somebody something. So, make that make sense to me. All right, I'm done. I'm off my soapbox. Anyways, guys, happy Saturday. Go out and make a great day. Go enjoy something that you don't normally do. Go watch a movie. Go take a walk in the park. Go meditate. Go do something that really just gives you some peace and serenity today. God bless, guys. Take care. God bless. Be kind, even in the chat box below.